All right, knowledge seekers, buckle up because today's deep dive might just flip your perception of the paper industry upside down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going behind the scenes
Okay.
to explore the world of pulp control operators. Think it's all about pushing buttons in some dusty old factory.
Right.
Think again, we're diving into a career guide, Pulp Control Operator, and let me tell you, this job is way more high-tech than you might imagine.
You're in for some surprises. This isn't your grandparents' paper mill. Did you know that a solid grasp of chemistry is becoming increasingly valuable in this field?
Okay, now that's got my attention. I
Yeah.
always struggle to balance those chemical equations, but hey, maybe I could have traded the textbooks for a hard hat and a high-vis vest.
Right.
What's the story there?
Well, the industry is on this big push towards sustainability and efficiency, which means incorporating some seriously advanced technology.
Okay.
We're talking data analysis, process optimization, the whole shebang. So those who really thrive in this role often have a background in fields like chemical engineering or environmental science.
Wow, the future of paper in the hands of people who ace their chemistry exams. I have to admit, I pictured this job being more about machinery than molecules. Speaking of which, the guide does mention operations monitoring as a key responsibility. What exactly does that entail?
Imagine this. You're in the control room, surrounded by dials, gauges, and screens. You're basically like the conductor of a complex orchestra, making sure everything is running in sync. Think monitoring the pressure inside a digester that's a massive vessel where wood chips get cooked into pulp and making sure it doesn't go above a critical threshold. Talk about pressure, and that's just one small piece of the puzzle.
So you're not just monitoring, you're interpreting, analyzing, and making sure this whole intricate process doesn't go haywire. You've got to have nerves of steel for this gig.
Absolutely. You need that sharp eye for detail, that ability to spot a potential problem before it even becomes a problem. But it's not all high-pressure situations. A lot of the job is about understanding the rhythm of the machinery, knowing when something sounds off, being that calming presence in the midst of all the hustle and bustle.
It's like having a sixth sense for when that paper machine is about to throw a tantrum. But you need more than just intuition, right? The guide also mentions mechanical knowledge as a key skill. Is that where the wrench turning comes in?
You got it. You need a good understanding of how all those gears and gizmos work together. Think of it like this. You're not just operating the machinery, you're becoming its best friend. You know its quirks, its limits, and how to keep it running smoothly.
So a bit of a gearhead wouldn't hurt in this role. But it sounds like you need that perfect blend of technical know-how and hands-on problem-solving skills. You're the one they call when the paper machine starts acting up.
Exactly. You're the troubleshooter, the one who can diagnose a problem and find a solution, often under pressure. And this guide really emphasizes that this job isn't static. You're constantly learning, adapting to new technologies, and finding ways to improve the process.
Now, that's something I find super intriguing. The guide mentions this whole career ladder within the pulp control operator world. It's not just one job title, but a whole path you can carve out for yourself. Could you walk us through that a bit?
Absolutely. Think of it like leveling up in a video game. You might start as an entry-level pulp control operator, assisting the more experienced folks, getting a feel for the machinery, learning the ropes.
Those are those who probably have the best on-the-job stories.
Oh, I bet they do. From there, you move up to junior and then senior operator roles as you gain experience and expertise. You're taking on more responsibility, handling more complex tasks, maybe even mentoring those newer recruits.
It's like the circle of pulp knowledge. And what about the top of the career ladder? What does it take to reach those coveted lead and senior lead positions?
That's where your leadership skills really come into play. You're not just managing machines, you're managing teams, coordinating production schedules, and making sure the whole operation runs like a well-oiled, or should I say well-pulped, dot machine.
That's a pretty sweet gig. It sounds like there's a lot of room for growth and specialization within this field. But let's shift gears for a second and talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe the digital file in the cloud. The rise of digital media. Is paper going the way of the dinosaurs, or are pulp control operators the guardians of a sustainable future for this essential material?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But here's the thing. Paper is more resilient than you might think.
Really? I have to admit, I haven't printed anything other than my boarding pass in years.
And that's okay. But think about all the other ways we use paper packaging, shipping boxes, those takeout containers everyone relies on these days. The demand for paper products isn't going away anytime soon. And what's even more interesting is that the industry is actively looking for ways to become more sustainable.
So it's not just about keeping the paper flowing. It's about making sure that flow doesn't come at the expense of the environment.
You hit the nail on the head. This industry is evolving rapidly, incorporating new technologies and processes to minimize their environmental footprint. And that's where pulp control operators play a crucial role. They're on the front lines of making paper production more sustainable.
Now, that's a career I can get behind. But what does that actually look like in practice? What are some of the ways the industry is becoming more eco-friendly?
Well, for one, they're finding innovative ways to reduce waste and maximize resource utilization. Think about it. Paper is made from trees, a renewable resource, and this industry is very conscious of responsible forestry practices. They're planting more trees than they harvest and investing in sustainable forestry initiatives.
So it's not just about what happens in the mill, it's about the entire life cycle of the product, from forest to factory and beyond. That's a pretty holistic approach.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that there's this constant drive for innovation in the industry. They're exploring new materials like alternative fibers and recycled content to reduce their reliance on virgin wood pulp.
It's like they're turning paper production into this closed-loop system, minimizing waste and maximizing efficiency. That's pretty amazing. But what about the energy it takes to run these paper mills? I imagine those giant machines guzzle electricity like nobody's business.
You're not wrong, those machines do require a significant amount of energy. But here's where it gets really interesting. The industry is increasingly turning to renewable energy sources to power their operations.
Okay, so they're planting trees, using recycled materials, A&D tapping into renewable energy. That's a triple threat of sustainability.
Right. And pulp control operators are at the heart of this transformation, ensuring that these new technologies and processes are implemented effectively and efficiently. They're the ones keeping those sustainable practices running smoothly.
It's like they're the unsung heroes of the green revolution in paper production. They might not get all the glory, but they're the ones making it happen behind the scenes.
Exactly. And the best part is this focus on sustainability is only going to grow stronger in the years to come. So if you're looking for a career that's both technically challenging and environmentally responsible, Pulp Control Operator might just be your calling.
I don't know about our listeners, but I'm starting to feel inspired. This is way more than just a job. It's a chance to be part of something bigger, something that's making a real difference in the world.
I couldn't agree more. And think about this. Every time you pick up a book, a magazine, or even a cardboard box, you're interacting with the work of a pulp control operator. They're the unseen hands behind these everyday essentials.
That's a pretty cool way to think about it. But let's get back to the career itself. We've talked about the sustainability aspect, but what about the actual work environment? What's life like on the factory floor, so to speak?
Well, the guide doesn't paint a picture of a cushy office job, does it?
Not exactly. It's a factory setting, so think potentially noisy, potentially hot, and you're definitely going to be on your feet a lot.
Yeah.
But not for the faint of heart or those who prize a perfectly climate-controlled environment.
Right. But for those who like to see the tangible results of their work, who enjoy the rhythm of a manufacturing environment, there's a certain satisfaction to it.
Okay.
You're part of a team working towards a common goal, and at the end of the day, you've played a key role in creating something essential.
There's a certain poetry to that, isn't there? Turning raw materials into something we use every single day. But it's not just about the physical demands, is it? The guide also emphasizes the importance of mental stamina and adaptability in this role.
Absolutely. You're constantly problem solving, troubleshooting, thinking on your feet.
Right.
The industry is always evolving with new technologies and processes being introduced. So you need to be a quick learner, adaptable, and always up for a challenge.
So you're not just clocking in and out. You're constantly engaging with the work, finding ways to improve, to innovate. It's a career for those who want to make their mark, to leave things better than they found them.
I think that's a great way to put it. And the guide highlights another perk that's becoming increasingly important in today's job market: job security.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Nobody wants to be stuck in a dead-end job.
Yeah.
What's the guide say about the long-term prospects for pulp control operators?
It points out that this is a skilled trade, and as the industry continues to grow and evolve, the demand for qualified operators is only going to increase.
Yeah.
Plus, think about all those experienced folks nearing retirement.
Oh, right.
There are going to be some big shoes to fill.
So it's a career with a future, one where you can build a real and lasting career. Now, for our listeners who are starting to picture themselves in those steel-toed boots, what advice does the guide offer for breaking into the field?
Well, it stresses the importance of hands-on experience. That could mean internships, apprenticeships, even entry-level positions in related fields like manufacturing or production.
So roll up your sleeves and get some dirt under your fingernails.
Exactly. But it's not just about practical experience. The guide also recommends a solid educational foundation.
And we're not just talking about any degree, right? There are some specific fields that align well with his career path.
You got it. The guide specifically mentions degrees in pulp and paper science, chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, even environmental science as being highly relevant.
So if you're passionate about sustainability, you can bring that passion to the table and make a real impact in this industry.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of networking. The guide suggests joining professional organizations like TIPI, that's the Technical Association of the Pulp and Paper Industry. It's a great way to connect with other professionals, learn about job openings, and stay up to date on industry trends.
So find your tribe, learn from the best, and keep those knowledge gears turning. This has been a fascinating deep dive, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We've uncovered a career path that's both demanding and rewarding, challenging, and full of opportunities.
It's a career that's often overlooked, but plays a vital role in our everyday lives.
Hmm.
Who knew there was so much more to the paper industry than meets the eye?
It's a field where tradition meets innovation, where technical expertise and environmental stewardship go hand in hand.
And for those who are up for the challenge, who are drawn to a career that's both hands-on and intellectually stimulating, the world of pulp control operators awaits.
So there you have it, listeners, your deep dive into the world of pulp control operators. We hope you found it as eye-opening as we did.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to write the next chapter in the story of paper. Until next time, keep those knowledge gears turning.